Well, hello there, motherfuckers. I am back with another retro review. Now, I have received various requests to do reviews on various different pay-per-views. And, I will get to probably all of them eventually. But I have chosen to do this request first. A couple of people requesting this one. WrestleMania 11. Oh, yeah. A very unpopular WrestleMania. WrestleMania did not fare too well when looked back on by, wrestling enthusiasts. So, let's take a look here at WrestleMania 11. Now, first things first, before we get to the matches, the most depressing thing about this Mania is that I did a little research on this show. The crowd was very, very small for this one. They chose the Civic Center, where there was only 15,000 people there, which is even less than Nassau Coliseum. And you can even see it. This was probably the lowest attendance of a Mania. Even the very unpopular WrestleMania 9, the worst Mania of all time, which I will sadly review as well. I have watched that Mania before. I have. And I had the VHS tape, but all my VHS tapes have been thrown out because I don't have a VCR anymore. So I will have to rewatch it. It's been quite a few years since I've seen that Mania, but I will get to that one too. Don't worry. I know a lot of people probably want me to... there were requests for me to do WrestleMania 9 as well. So I, of course, am going to fulfill that request as well. But anyway, at least that was in Caesar's Palace. At least WrestleMania 9 had an awesome environment. Looking back, at least you could say that at least even though WrestleMania 9 was fucking terrible match-wise, at least it had a proper venue of WrestleMania caliber. This was an embarrassment. McMahon was losing money, and he couldn't afford probably to put in a bigger venue. Probably the venues didn't even want his shit in there. That's probably why it ended up back in Connecticut, back in his hometown. So this was just embarrassing. There were too few people there. You had the first opening match, the Allied Powers, which was Lex Luger and the British Bulldog. And they defeat the Blues Brothers, which was Eli and Jacob Blue. And Zeb Coulter was with them, his uncle Zebekiah. And, this match was just fucking shitty. And, who are the Blues Brothers? Who are they? You look back and you don't even remember them. I watched this as a kid, and I don't even fucking remember them wrestling at all. I don't remember them really on Raw. They were there for a couple of months, and then they were gone. And why were they being, spotlighted? This is the thing. The opening match is supposed to fire up the crowd. This just was slow and boring. It wasn't exciting or anything. It was just a really boring-ass fucking match. And then you had, these two motherfuckers, really big and tall. You can't even tell them apart. Just very fucking boring as shit. And the Bulldog, I look back, I'm not going to lie and say that I never liked Lex Luger, because I did in WCW. He got better when he was in WCW. He had, I don't know, he was utilized better there. But anyway, the Bulldog wasting his time. I think back to classic matches that the Bulldog has had. And, to see him wrestling at the biggest card of the year in this fucking piece of shit was a fucking embarrassment. It was just a boring match. I give it 1 star. 1 star. That's about it. That's all it was. Very fucking lame finish as well. Oh, man, even giving this 1 star even really irks me. I don't even know if I should be giving it that. It ends with a very awkward-looking sunset flip from the Bulldog, no less. Bulldog. But it was probably awkward due to the nature of the Blues Brothers. You know, I don't understand this. I was expecting Dan Aykroyd to show up. Blues Brothers, get the fuck out of here. Piece of shit match. The next match was way better. Razor Ramon defeating Jeff Jarrett, but by disqualification. And this was the Intercontinental title was on the line. You had the 1, 2, 3 kid at ringside, and then you had Road Dogg also at ringside. It was kind of, you know, weird. This was 3 members of the Clique all in the same thing, and Jeff Jarrett. It was a pretty decent match, I have to say. Not boring, not exceptional or anything, but it sure as was a hell of a lot better than the first match. A very, very cheap-ass finish, disqualifications. Disqualification would be acceptable on, you know, just any pay-per-view, basically, but this is not acceptable on WrestleMania. WrestleMania, there shouldn't be any disqualifications, motherfuckers. This should be a time where, you know, like, feuds should end and there should be, like, a real ending to matches. You know, this is like the World Series, like, and they do some bullshit. Oh, the time expired. You know, people would be pissed. It's like during the Super Bowl, they would be like, oh, disqualified. You know, you can't do that. There's got to be a winning team. There's got to be a winning wrestler. Why the fuck disqualification? Come on. Like, they didn't have the balls to have Jarrett go over Ramon, or at least just give the belt back to Ramon. I mean, come the fuck on. The post-match stuff was pretty decent. Jeff Jarrett starts bleeding from the mouth. So this, you know, pretty good post-match, kind of made up for the shitty disqualification finish. I give it 2.5 stars. Still a garbage finish, decent post-match shit, a decent match. Nothing terrible, but nothing good either. Then you had The Undertaker defeating King Kong Bundy. You know, I find it funny, you know, this is the thing. The Undertaker really had a lot of shitty matches in his early years. I'm sorry, but I can say that watching, you know, this shit as a kid. You know, it's different if, like, an 18-year-old comes on and says, Undertaker sucks. Motherfuckers, you know, I'm just about to be 27, and I can say that, looking back, The Undertaker had some shitty-ass matches. Now, he may be one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, but I'm going to speak the truth about him here. Well, a lot of his Mania matches, you know, probably up until he faced Kane, maybe, at WrestleMania 14, a lot of his matches really fucking sucked. I mean, he really didn't have, like, any epic matches, you know, in his early years. He was also wrestling a different style, like, you know, he was invincible, he would no-sell a lot of shit. He got a lot better during the Attitude Era. It's actually funny. When The Undertaker got older, that's when he got better. You know, it usually doesn't work that way. Usually when guys get older, they get worse. Taker actually got better with age. Weird, you know, this match was very boring. It was all about Taker getting the earn back from King Kong Bundy's manager, Ted DiBiase. Kama comes in, Kama Mufasa, which is the Godfather. You know, before he was entertaining, he was Kama. And he comes in wearing a ridiculous fucking looking outfit. You know, some fake tank top printed on a pair of tights. And I don't know what the fuck it was like during this time. They didn't know how to dress the wrestlers. All their tights and outfits are fucking nerdy. At least during the PG era, at least people still know how to fucking dress. This match was just too slow. It could have been worse, but it wasn't good. I'd give it like 1 star. It's a King Kong Bundy match, for God's sakes, motherfuckers. Guy might be a legend, but he was boring. And so was The Undertaker during this time. Then it was Owen Hart and Yokozuna defeating the Smoking Guns for the tag titles. You know, this was okay, mostly due to Owen, and, you know, the Smoking Guns were a decent tag team. Some good double team maneuvers. I really liked the Billy Gunn doing a big leg drop, like really jumping up pretty high in this one. Some decent stuff, but Yokozuna, what an embarrassing performance during this match from him. He did like 2 moves and then he was leaning on the ropes. Oh, Bret, stop being disrespectful. You know, here's the thing. This was embarrassing. The man had gained like 100 more pounds than what he had previously been. And that is just out-fucking-rageous. That is just outrageous beyond belief. That, you know, that he was that fat during this match. They're talking about it like he's impressive. Oh, look at those thighs. Oh, look at that fucking fat ass. He was a fat ass motherfucker. And he sucked in the ring. I'm sorry, motherfuckers. Disrespectful or not. You know, I hate it when people do this in the YWC. Just because a guy passes away, we have to praise him. He could be the worst wrestler of all time, but we have to praise him just because he's deceased. No, I'm sorry, motherfuckers. Yokozuna was not a good wrestler. God rest his soul and all that shit, you know. Sad when people die, you know, in general. It's sad when people die in the wrestling business. But I have a lot of unfond memories of Yokozuna. Very boring matches. Just very, very fucking fat. That's basically it. Just a fat guy pretending to be Japanese. Another one of The Rock's jabroni cousins trying to come in and, you know, try to be as good as Snuka, but failing ultimately. This match was not terrible, like I said, but it was embarrassing seeing Yoko trying to catch his breath every 2 seconds. Finish was just fucking bizarre as well. Yoko hits his bonsai drop. The pin gets broken up, but then Owen Hart just comes in and makes the pin. Like, he couldn't even do his own move. I don't know. The match was alright. 2 stars, maybe. Then it was Bret Hart defeating Bob Backlund in an I Quit match. You know, similar concept to their Survivor Series match, but not as good as their Survivor Series match. Their Survivor Series match in 1994 was a match that I owned on VHS as a kid. A friend of my father had recorded it and given me the tape. And even though it wasn't a monumental event, Survivor Series 1994 had an awesome match with Bret Hart and Bob Backlund. The way how they wrestled in that match, it was very old school, very technical, submission based, and it was a really good fucking match. This one was a little bit more awkward with Piper being there, shoving the microphone in their faces. But the microphone was wired. I don't know why that was. The microphone was wired. They couldn't get him a wireless one. And then he's saying comments, and I couldn't even understand what the fuck he was saying. It was also because the audio fucking sucked on this show. And I'll get to that in a minute. Bret Hart ends up winning. I like how he won with the cross-faced chicken wing, giving him his own move. You know, it was pretty enjoyable. 2.5 stars. I liked a lot of the submission-based wrestling, but it could have been a lot better, motherfuckers. A lot better. Then you had Diesel defeating Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship. This match was good. Diesel, the champion, defending against Michaels. People were cheering for Michaels, but they still went with Diesel anyway. Match was not fantastic or anything. You know, a couple of okay things here and there. At the end, Diesel hits the jackknife on Shawn Michaels. And you know, when it's over, basically, it just, I will give the match I didn't really like it. I'll give it like 2.5 stars. Some okay stuff from Shawn Michaels trying to make it better, but Diesel really sucked. Way too much punching and kicking from this one. There really wasn't a lot of excitement in this match. You know, Michaels really did try here, but it was too slow. There was too many parts in this match where it was just moving too slow for my tastes. It really didn't get there as a quality match. And this was all about Pamela Anderson and Jenny McCarthy there at ringside. By the way, these people were supposed to be interviewed, but they didn't get interviewed at all at any point during the night. For some reason, Pamela Anderson went missing. I forget his name from NYPD Blue. He was looking for her in the back. He couldn't find her. Why? They get Pamela Anderson. You think they'd at least interview her. She didn't talk once on the fucking show. Jenny McCarthy talked for like 2 seconds. There were audio problems. They couldn't get the audio. You see, they were just doing shots of the crowd for like 5-10 minutes, trying to buy time. And the audio fucking sucked. It sucked. Whoever was putting it together was probably fired the next day or right after the show, because the audio was down for several minutes, and it greatly affected the quality and my enjoyment of the pay-per-view. Not that there was anything really to enjoy in the ring on this show. As you can see, a shitty-ass title match even. Anyway, then you had Lawrence Taylor defeating Bam Bam Bigelow in a very, 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 very shitty-ass match. I don't care what any motherfucker says. This was beyond boring. Oh, Lawrence Taylor tried. Fuck these motherfuckers. I see other people doing retro reviews on here, and they defend this match. Are you fucking out of your mind? Lawrence Taylor did not do a good job during this match. He did a very shitty-ass job, proving what everybody was saying about this, who talks about it negatively. Shouldn't have been in the ring. He's a motherfucking football player. So is The Rock. Well, this guy was a retired NFL guy. There was no reason for him to be there. And, even though it got them some publicity, it didn't really even get them any ratings. What the fuck was the point of doing a publicity stunt? 15,000 fans, that's all they could get. They were really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. And he did a good job. LT hits like a fucking forearm or elbow, whatever the hell it was, like 10, 20 fucking times. Was the only move he did. And then he finished it off with a variation of that forearm, as he did it from the second rope. Oh, wow. Such a weak-ass looking move, too. And it beats Bam Bam Bigelow, a 300-pounder getting beat by a fucking forearm shot. What a fucking embarrassment. It was a very, very slow, plodding, boring match. And you still have motherfuckers praising it. For what fucking reason? They're praising a fucking 20-year-old match like this that fucking sucks. Are you fucking kidding me? This was a terrible ass match. I give it a dud. A fucking same move from LT for the whole entire match. Are you fucking serious? No, motherfuckers. No. That is not entertainment. That is fucking shit. That was just, I don't know, motherfuckers, what to call that. But that there was not wrestling. That was a fucking joke. That was a mockery of fucking professional wrestling. So overall, this show was a fucking piece of goddamn fucking shit. It was garbage. It was terrible. It was, you had a couple of, decent matches, but for a Mania, this felt more like an episode of Raw. It felt more like an episode of, Superstars, which there used to be another not the one today, WWE Superstars, which is on the network. There used to be a Sunday morning show called Superstars. It was an hour show, and, you know, it was just another fucking B show. It was basically like a B show. Title match wasn't even that great. You know, Diesel really fucking sucked. He really did. He really fucking sucked, and he showed it here. You know, just really a bunch of fucking garbage on this show. Probably the highlight of the night is when Jonathan Taylor Thomas was playing chess. Yeah, the kid from Home Improvement, the voice of Simba, motherfuckers, was playing chess with Bob Backlund. And the funny thing is, you had Todd Pettingale saying, how can you play chess at a time like this? Hey boys, move over, I'm going to play a game of chess with you. It's more exciting than this fucking bullshit that was going on. Funny little segment there with Bob Backlund and Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I found that funny too. They're not even fucking watching the show, they're busy playing a fucking board game. Alright, terrible ass motherfucking show. I give this a 4 out of 10. You know, not every match was bad, but, you know, also, I'm scoring this based on Mania quality for it being the biggest show of the year. And what a fucking joke it was that LT and Bam Bam Bigelow main evented. No titles on the line. A football player and a mid-carder. Bam Bam Bigelow wasn't even fighting for the belt at the time, and he's in the fucking main event over Diesel and Shawn Michaels. Diesel, their top guy that they spent all the years developing, and Shawn Michaels, put second to last. Told that they're second to last after a fucking football player. Embarrassing, motherfuckers. All right. That's all I got to say about this. This has been my longest retro review so far, but I had a lot to say about this show. Alright, motherfuckers, I'll be back with another one very soon.